Hello, in this demonstration, I'm going to be discussing tints, shades, and tones. Um, Tints are when you add white to a color to get a gradation. Shades are when you add black to a color. In this case, I'm using phthalo green light to get a gradation. Most of us know these two. Now, tones is when I mix black and white to get a gray, and then I mix that with my phthalo green to get a toned gradation. So I'm going to focus on mixing tones today, show you color mixing, and then um, how to utilize those in an abstract painting. Okay, so I have already mixed kind of a mid-tone gray, and I've got my phthalo green light. I put a fair amount of paint out because I know that I'm going to create a painting with it, probably more than I need. Um, so to make a gradation, I'm going to reserve some of these mixtures, these colors as I go along. And I've misplaced my favorite angled palette knife, so I'm using my second favorite, which is this rectangular flat one. Okay, so now in order to make a toned gradation, I'm going to take some of my gray and add it to my phthalo green light. Now, if you didn't want to use white, black, or gray to tint, shade, or tone a color, you could tint a color. Let's say it's a dark blue. I could tint it with a lighter color, such as a yellow. If I wanted to shade a color, such as if I had a lighter color like a yellow, I could use a darker color to shade it. And then for tones, I would select neutral colors like gray, yellow ochre, a lot of the earth tones like um, burnt umber, raw sienna. Okay, I'm just going to do one more gradation and then I'm going to go into my painting. I'm going to bring this up a lot more closer to my gray. I'll just do one more. All right. Okay, so I think you get the idea of mixing a toned gradation. Okay, now as my inspiration for my painting, I actually saw this. It's from Hallmark, actually, Hallmark cards, but it's a piece of fabric. And I just like the contrast of the black and white, and then amongst the cool and warm colors. Really nice abstract piece. So I thought I'm going to lay a structure sort of like that. And then I'm going to put in my toned gradations. And at the end, I'll show you some other studies that I made. Using actually not just tones, but my tints and shades with the phthalo green. So I'm going to use this. I'm not sure what it is. Create a color. I think it's a water soluble. Out of a crayon. Okay, I'm just going to go with these lines across the page, not overthinking it. So I want some larger and some smaller shapes to work with. Okay, and then just to jazz it up a bit, I'm going to use a Conte crayon. I'm going to put some lines in. Now, this is much softer, and I know that when um, wet paint goes over it, it is going to spread. And I'm going to put a acrylic medium over it just to, it'll blend it a little bit, but it also seal it, and so that it doesn't bleed too much when I add wet paint. You'll see in a minute. And I liked this red color because I thought it was a nice contrast to that phthalo green. Okay, so now I'm going to use my matte medium and I'm going to go over um, the Conte crayon. So you can see it's smearing a little bit, but once I put this on and it dries, it'll should prevent it from smearing further. This is a great thing to do if you wanted to preserve some finer lines or maybe some text. You could put this on top. It acts as a barrier so I can paint over it and then I can wipe away and see what's below. Okay, so I've got that pretty well sealed. Now I'm just very quickly going to paint in some of these tones. I'm going to add some medium to each of these to sort of liquefy them a little bit and spread them. Okay. So within this, not just playing with the colors, I can play with thick application. I can add more water and do more transparent applications. Okay, when I start this, I usually paint at least 3 of these shapes with this color, kind of in different places on the page, just to achieve a sense of balance. Okay, now I'll add more water to my next gray tone. Try and go for more transparent. I can play with color right next to color, color overlapping color. I can pull in some sgraffito. I'm using my palette knife that's got teeth on it to do my sgraffito. And this can keep going for a while. As the paint dries, I can layer over and scrape through with Sgraffito. I'll try that here in just a minute. This one's kind of hard to see. So I'm going to go over. I'll just go over this section. Okay, so that's dry enough, and then I can go over with another color and then scrape through with Sgraffito. If I want it to be more obvious, I can scrape through using a wider tool. Okay, so I think you get the basic idea. I'm not going to complete the whole thing, but I am going to show you a couple of others that I did. So here's one where I use tints, shades, and tones all in one piece. Okay. Just using whatever this crayon pencil thing is. And then here's one I did where I used the Conte crayon and went over with the medium to seal it in. It's a little, the red shows up a little bit more. So just working with that limited color palette, this is tints, shades, and tones, these two, and this one would be just tones, and you can see it's more subtle. So that is it for tints, shades, and tones.